Yeah, good morning to all of you. So, yesterday we have discussed regarding to the previous class, we have discussed regarding to tuple relational calculus and how a tuple relational calculus could be evaluated. Already we have discussed. Today, the point which we would like to continuation is the domain relational calculus. One more calculus is there with us, that is domain relational calculus. And this domain relational calculus is also similar to tuple relational calculus. In tuple relational calculus, everything will be based on complete rows, otherwise the tuples. Whereas domain relational calculus, it could be based on attributes. Domain in the sense, domain could be there with only attributes. So therefore, based on the attributes, we have to define. So that is why attributes will be taken into consideration specially. So that is why it is called as domain relational calculus. As we said in the previous class, so domain relational calculus is always concentrated on attributes, and it is also as like as tuple relational calculus. There is no difference at all, nothing difference at all. In tuple relational calculus, all variables what you have to specify, they will be considered as the tuples. Entire row will be represented by that particular variable. In domain relational calculus, so all variables will be represented one attribute of that particular relation in the sense that is stable. So that is the only difference here. So range over individual values in the domain relational calculus will be always the attributes here. Okay, always attributes. Yesterday we have taken this one. Today, so we'll continue, and how to write some queries in domain relational calculus will be concentrated today. Okay. Then general form of this domain relational calculus will be, so open and closed curly braces. Within this one, x1, x2, x3, x4, and so on, xn, number of attributes will be considered here. So such that P of x1, x2, x3, and so on, x1. So what does it mean? P in the sense it is a predicate, it is a condition. Some condition is supposed to be specified by you. Some condition, whatever the condition it may be, you have to specify some condition on that particular specific thing. Then the P of S will be P of predicate of x1, x2, x3 will be taken into consideration. Okay. Then where already I told you, so x1, x2 are attributes, and p1, p2, and predicate p will be the predicate here. So p will be the predicate here. Predicate in the sense condition. Okay. So a variable which could be specified within this particular x1, x2, x3 are different kinds of variables what we have to specify. So these variables are always trying to draw the value from a domain of a particular attribute. It is always trying to draw a domain of a particular attribute. Domain in the sense, possible values which are able to enter into one variable or one attribute. For example, if you consider a registered number, REGD, registered number, examination table. I am talking about examination table, and then subject 1 marks or subject 2 marks, something like this will be taken. Subject 1 marks are always have been taken only the values between 0 and 100. So the domain of this particular subject 1, subject 2, subject 3 will be always 0 and 100. Beyond these values, if you are supposed to give, that could not be the domain of that particular subject values. So you may be get 0 marks or 1 mark or 2 marks or up to 100 marks will be get by you. So that is why the domain of this particular variable will be always specifies this particular value. So like that, it could be get the domain of that particular attribute. That is the importance of domain here. And if you want to specify any kind of predicate, so you will go ahead and specify something like this. Okay. Then, for example, if you consider this particular example here, this particular relationship here. Student takes a course. Student takes a course, for example. Then we do have different types of attributes on a student, different types of attributes on a course, and different types of attributes on takes also. It is actually so associate entity here. This is an associate entity. So after taking one examination, so what is our grade? So what is how a grade will be specified? That grade will be taken by this particular text here. However, so we do have some data something like this. We do have some kind of data something like this. Based on this particular situation, if you want to write a domain relational calculus kind of questions, how could you write? Get the details of all students. Okay, I want to display everything in general form. Let me take notepad here for a while, then you could see. So in general form, so in SQL, select everything from so student. You maybe write something like this. Okay, this could be, of course, this could be true for tuple relation calculus. But as far as domain relational calculus, it is not true. You could not write. I'm talking about high level point of view only, but let me give you example in terms of SQL here. So it could be okay. It could be okay for so tuple relational calculus. There is no problem at all. Okay, you can tuple relational calculus is always trying to so identify each and every row individually so that the star will be always gives you each and every row. So there is no so problem at all. If you want to specify the same thing in terms of domain relational calculus, or you could say select, you need to mention ID first column, so name second column, and address third column from student. So that is the difference between these two. Okay, that is the difference between these two. This is domain relational calculus, DRC, and above one is tuple relational calculus. Difference between these two is if you want to specify tuple relational calculus, so something like this, it is okay in high level format. And if you want to specify the same in terms of domain relational calculus, so you need to mention each and every attribute name. That is the difference between these two. Okay, domain is in the sense it could be always concentrates on every attribute, every single attribute. That is the basic difference between these two. So that is why it could be written something like this: ID, name, address, such that ID, name, and address are belongs to student. Okay, belongs to in the sense how you could write in high level here in the sense select ID, name, address from itself will be called as belongs to so student. Okay, in this way you have to written in terms of a domain relational calculus. And if you want to specify some condition something like this, if you want to specify some condition something like this, so how could you specify this one? How could you write in terms of domain relational calculus? So domain relational calculus, already I told you this is the way to write the domain relational calculus. And if any condition will be there, obviously, so we have to type this particular query, and where clause must be where ID, what is the ID is equal to, of course, 123. Same thing will be written in terms of so tuple relational calculus. It could be written something like this. In tuple relational calculus, the same thing will be also written. So select star from student where so ID equal to, so whatever the condition may be, you have to implement here. So tuple relation calculus will be always identify entire row of that particular so table. One row will be identified by tuple, whereas you want to specify in terms of domain relational calculus, you need to mention each and every attribute. Okay, so then condition will be seen in such a way. To specify the condition in a domain relational calculus, big omega can be used. Look at this. So everything will be specified, and then all are belongs to student, such that this is called as not omega. This is called as such that. So ID equal to 123. ID equal to 123. Okay. So in this way, you could specify the details of student whose ID will be equal to 123. And find the, of course, you could say You could also specify, find the name of a student. I'd like to display only name. I don't require all other fields. I may require only name. So then name, so name of the student, where all fields are belongs to student, such that ID will be equal to 145. Okay, I need to display only name, and entire table attributes will be belongs to student, where such that ID will be equal to 145. In this way, you have to specify. Okay, these are the three different kinds of so syntaxes where exactly you have to use to depict the examples of domain relational calculus. Okay, so this is what the domain relational calculus. And in this way, you could specify your domain relational calculus in your theoretical part. Okay, so far we have completed relational algebra, tuple relational calculus, and the domain relational calculus. And if you go ahead and look into thing, so relational calculus is over, and relational tuple relational calculus is over, domain relational calculus is over. Almost all this whole thing has been completed. So whole thing has been completed, and here also, so SQL querying has been seen, union operation, intersect operation. So nested expect also we have seen, but expect keyword is not there, but it has been seen. So nested queries, I mean the subqueries also seen, aggregate functions also seen, that is sum, average, count, and minimum, maximum, all those things have been seen. And the null operators, how null values will be handled, already seen. Complexity integrity constraints, that is so primary key and all those things have been seen. And then up to this particular point, unit number 3 has been completed. But so we have left over with this one. It is a big, very big chapter it is, because which is called as PL SQL. Okay, so procedural language, and so procedural language for structured query language here. So I'd like to start at this moment by this PL SQL. So let me start that PL SQL right now. So hope that you do understand what I spoke to you regarding to this domain relational calculus. It's very easy. It's very pretty simple. Okay, it's very pretty simple, and you could understand very easily. Okay, however, let me start with let me close this particular thing, because no more it is not required for us. So let me start with PL SQL. PL SQL procedural PL SQL PL/SQL could be specified like this: procedural language for SQL. SQL is non-procedural language. Actually, it is a non-procedural language. So if you want to implement any kind of procedures, yes, there is a possibility to implement some procedure, that is PL, that is procedural language for SQL. So already we told that it is a procedural language. So every procedural language such as C, C++, Java, Python, and so on and so forth does have some structures, program structures. Program structure must be there here. Similarly, here also some program structure is available for procedural language, that is PL SQL. That procedural language, so structure of PL SQL will be, you please write somewhere else. Otherwise, I'll send it out this thing to you through Google Classrooms. Structure of this one will be, so look at this. It is optional. Declare, if any declarations will be there, the variable declarations will be there. Variable declarations, any variable declarations will be there. They could be declared here. Then our program will be starts with the begin. So begin doesn't have any semicolon, and whatever the set of statements you are expected to use, yes, you can use. So those set of statements, all those set of statements will be gets used. Yeah, you can write your own statements here. Okay, executable statements of PL SQL. And one more extra thing is there, that is also optional. When situation demands, you have to use it. Otherwise, you can omit it. That is, so exception. Already you have studied regarding to exceptions in our Java, Python, C++, and all those languages. So exception clauses. Okay, whatever the exception clauses you have to mention, those exception clauses, followed by at the end, your program must be going to end here. And then, so to run this particular program, so like this. This is the standard syntax of your PL SQL. Okay, PL SQL will be always get started like this. If you don't have any variables with you, no need to use this declare statement. If you don't have any variables directly, so you may be perform some 10 plus 20, something like this will be performed by you. Don't use that particular declaration even. Then your program will be starts with begin and executable statements, followed by finally it must be end here. So this is the general procedure. And if you are working with the pure databases, when databases must be worked out with by you, then obviously you maybe have some kind of exceptions. If any exceptions will be raised by your database, obviously you have to use this particular exception. Otherwise, exception clause could not be used here. So in this way, you have to declare. I mean, structure of your PLSQL program could be seen in this way. Okay. So within this particular structure, we need to understand. So next point, we need to understand here how a variable can be, because already you people have some kind of idea of writing some programs in other languages, C, C++, something like this. After getting the structure, what are the what are the necessary components of that particular language is? So first component will be variables. Second component will be data set. Data set in the sense whatever the data you are supposed to use. And third component will be, so if you want to use variables, you need to have data types. Data types is set is different from data types here. So data types, what kind of data types you are supposed to use. So fourth one will be input and output. This is very important. And fifth one will be statements. Whatever the statements you are supposed to use. These statements might be, let me come across with first one. So sequential statements, then followed by selective statements. Selective in the sense if statement, something like this. Fourth one is C will be iterative statements, otherwise looping statements, something like this. And afterwards we will come to other components. Those components could not be depicted right now, so I'll give you in progressive way. Otherwise you could write, no, there is no problem for me. So sixth component of this SQL is procedures. Here goes procedures. Seventh one will be functions. Eighth one will be packages. Ninth one, very important. Ninth and 10th are very, very, very pretty much important. Cursors. 10th one is too much, damn important. That is trigger. I hope you would see in our syllabus, you could see triggers. Okay, so this is damn important while talking something about our databases. Triggers are playing a vital role when compared to all other points here. Okay, all other. So 6, 7, 8, 9. Of course, they are important. They are important. I'm sure that they are important. So, but triggers are playing a vital role. Because of trigger, your database will be converted from static to dynamic. Static to dynamic. However, these are the points which we would like to consider here. So let me come across with the data types first. Data types. Okay, before going to data types, let me take this data set. So data set. Data set will be, so what is the data set you are supposed to use? Here is, you can use capital A to Z. Otherwise, small a to Z you can use. Similarly, you could also use 0 to 9 as characters to write some set of statements or frame variable names, and then all special characters, except double quotes. Double quotes are not supposed to be used. Okay, remaining all special characters are supposed to be used by you to write your program. This is the data set here. This is the specific data set here you could use. Similarly, data types. Already in SQL, you have learned many data types. Data types are character, number. Let me write in a formal way. Number is first one, character is second one, varchar R2 is third one, and then integer, so float, and then raw, and then long raw, and then long, all these things, blah, 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 blah. Remaining all other things also be used. All these things are supposed to be used. All data types are supposed to be used here. Everything. And then one thing I have missed in the beginning one, that is operators. Operators has been missed here. So let me take operators here. All operators what you learned in terms of SQL, all operators could be used here. That is so relational. First one is assignment operator. Assignment here it is. What you are supposed to use here is actually, so for comparison, we people are used the equal sign. So where so we may be write one particular query something like this, where employee name, employee job is so to salesman. So select everything from EMP where so job will be equal to so salesman. So here this particular equal to can be used as so comparative operator, comparison operator, so that already it has been gone for its own job. So that is why assignment operator could be used something like this: colon equal to. This is the assignment operator. Colon equal to will be called as assignment operator, and then relational operators will be, already we know what are the different kinds of relational operators will be greater than, so greater than or equal to, so less than or equal to, and then not equal to. Not equal to can be written like this also, not equal to, and then equal to. All these things are used. Logical operators also be and, so or not also be used here. You could use any one of them. And then SQL operators in the sense, so SQL operators will be, so is, then followed by like, followed by between, and followed by in, followed by some other operators are there, any, so some other operators exist. Okay, something like this. Many other operators are there. All these things are supposed to be used. Percentile, and then underscore, everything can be used. There is no problem at all. So everything, whatever the operators you have learned in terms of subqueries and in terms of any other kind of issues, everything is used in SQL, used in the PL SQL also. Okay. Then followed by one point I'd like to mention here in terms of statements. So all SQL statements are supposed to be used. All SQL statements. All SQL statements in the sense a DDL can be used. A DML can be used except select. Select must be having its own so structure here. Remaining everything is common. So what is that? TCL can be used. Transaction control language can be used. DCL, data control language, can also be used. All other statements will be as it is you are supposed to use, except select. Except select here. Because why except select here in the sense? So since it is a procedural language, it does have its own procedure. You may be write several number of statements to be written to write one particular program, so that you need to have some kind of variables. In SQL, it is non-procedural language actually. SQL is a non-procedural language. Because of non-procedural languages, it doesn't have any variables. So that is why we don't have any, we don't declare any kind of variables in SQL. But it is a procedural language, so that we may be declared some kind of variables here. Variables must be declared. Because of variables, so always selection will be always select the data. Let me open variable. Select the data and display onto the so actually screen. Look at this. Pages 50. So let us consider. So if you want to select ename from EMP, if you take this particular query, so obviously all this particular data will be displayed on the screen. But in PLSQL, that is not possible. There is no such kind of displaying. I mean, canvas is not available. Instead of displaying canvas, you have variable. You do have some kind of variable here. So since we do have variables, yes, we do. So change this particular select syntax. Remaining everything, the all DLL, or DML, or DCL, all DCL will be as it is what we learned in the previous SQL, except select here. Then how the select will be? Select statement will be seems like this. So previously we wrote something like select. So attribute 1, comma, attribute 2, comma, and so on. Otherwise start. So from some table name. So we wrote something like this, table name. So then followed by, we do have many classes. So where class, where condition, and something like this, blah, blah, blah. Many number of other classes are there. It is general form in terms of SQL. Whereas in terms of PL/SQL, how this could be transformed here in the sense, this could be transformed something like this. This could be transformed here. Star could not be used. Everything could not be used. So you have to select so only variables. So variable 1, variable 2, otherwise attribute 1, attribute 1, attribute 2, and so on. How many number of attributes you are supposed to use? Yes, you can select them. So there is a keyword into. Into is a keyword. This is extra one. Into. So here first variable could be, first attribute value could be placed in variable 1. Second one will be placed in variable 2. Third one will be placed in variable 3. Nth one will be placed in nth variable. Okay, so this will be extra. This will be extra. You please remember this one. Select some variable into, some attribute into some variable from table name where condition. So this where will be always been existed here. Where condition must be always been existed, because a variable is a variable which could be able to store only single value at any moment of time. It's well known to us. Okay. So only this particular statement will be gets changed here. Remaining everything is common. Remaining everything is pretty much well. Okay. So only this statement will be. So you need to consider here. So before going in detail about this particular statements, let me introduce variables. Of course, you have some rules and regulations to create variables in all other languages. A variable will be always starts with a character. Total length of number of characters within variable will be 32. Whatever the rules and regulations you have learned so far in any language will be followed same. There is no difference at all. But while declaring one particular variable in terms of in C programming language, you may be declare something like this. If you want to declare a particular variable, set of variables as integer, let's specify integer followed by a comma b comma c comma d comma something like this. All variables will be declared in single line. It could be done in C, C++ or any other kind of languages. But in PLSQL, it is not possible. It is not possible. So you have to specify your variable, and then for every line, one variable could be specified here. So how the variable can be declared here in the sense, so variable name followed by data type. This is the declaration of your variable in PL SQL. In PL SQL, how you could display. So normally in C or other languages, first data type must be there, then followed by variable names are there. But here, variable name must be first, followed by data type, and so on. Okay, followed by data type, and so on. So here we have many facilities are there in the PL SQL. I'll let you know. So those facilities in this way. Then if you want to define student name, otherwise employee ID, employee name, and so these variables, let us consider e name is one variable of mine. So EID is another variable of mine. E name and EID are both are varchars only. So then e salary, this is another variable which is number. For example, if you want to define something like this, so in previous languages, so character ename comma EID, it is a facility to have this declare something like that, but here it is not possible. Ename, so varchar 2 of some 20, so semicolon, and again you have to define so same kind of varchar in next line, not exactly the same line. Okay, varchar 2 of some let me say some 10, and number of some 11 comma 2. Line by line you have to specify each and every variable here. If you do have some 20 variables, you have to use 20 lines. If you do have some 10 variables, you have to use 10 lines to be declare one particular variable, each and every variable. In this way, you have to declare a particular variable here. Okay. And let me write a small program. Before going to write the program, so we would like to introduce, I'd like to introduce one small output statement. It is not actual statement. It is a predefined package. DBMS underscore OUTPUT output dot PUT underscore LINE. You please remember this one. DBMS underscore output dot put underscore line. So it could be taken single parameter. It could be always taken single parameter. Let you know progressively you could come across that one. Okay. So let me write a small program for you. So look at this. If you want to write a particular program in PLSQL, at SQL prompt, you just operate ed followed by so program name of the program, PRG name. Actually, this program name can be taken .SQL. .SQL as its extension. You may give, you may not be give, that doesn't matter. Okay. After this, after writing your program has been completed, at SQL prompt, after writing has been completed, then if you want to execute that particular program, at the rate PRG underscore name, you have to specify like this, it could be automatically executed. Okay. Let us try one small program to add two numbers without taking any input here. Without taking any input, would like to add two numbers. So ADD. Look at this. You please observe here. I don't know whether it could be visible to you or not. So add.sql. So my cursor will be so rotate here. add.sql. Automatically it will be prompt you. Cannot find add.sql. Can I create it? Yes, you can. So it will open. Look at this. So the title of this one, add.sql. It is open in Notepad only. So declare. Let me declare a declaration section because I do have two variables with me. So a as some number of 3. Okay. So let me assign the value. Value will be 20 or 10 or it may be. B as so number of some 3 again. So let me assign some value that is 20. So C as number of again 3. So begin your actual program will be get started here. Already we have assigned the values. Then C will be equal to A plus B. Then produce the output here. DBMS underscore output dot PUT underscore LINE put line. So will be C. This DBMS output dot put underscore line END semicolon slash. So this DBMS put underscore output line will be always response for by using one particular statement. Let you give that particular statement here. Let you give that particular statement. Yes, I have I have my program written is, writing of my program is gets over. Then how could you write this one? How could you execute this one? At the rate ADD. Procedure is successfully completed. PL SQL procedure is successfully completed, but you don't have any output. Okay. Why it could not be generate output here in the sense, you have to execute one statement before going to write any, so PL SQL programs. That statement is set SER, VER, OUT, PUT, server output. It is by default in off mode. You must make it on. Okay, there is an environmental setting will be there. That is set server output on. It must be done. Okay, let me execute this particular statement for a while. So let me execute this one. Yes, your server has been put into on. Now let me execute my program again. So you could see the output 30. You could see the output, that is 30. If you want to write ed add, if you want to write so single quotations, the addition is, if you want to write something like this, you have to concatenate them. Already I have given this concatenation in the previous SQL. So SQL, that concatenation will be given here. Yes, could be. So execute this one. You could see the addition is 30. The addition is 30. In this way, you can execute your particular program in PLSQL. So today we have been completed data set, data types, operators, because already is known to you. Already is known to you. So that is why I have taken everything in a faster way. So statements. So all statements DML, DDL, DML, TCL, and TCL are same except from select. Select must be used in such a fashion, and you can declare our variables something like this. In this particular fashion, you have to declare our variables, and producing output, it could be seems like this. And if you want to run a particular program, if you want to write a particular program, so ed at SQL prompt ed program name. And then if you want to run that one, so you can write at the rate that particular program name. If you are supposed to use any output statement, that is dbms underscore output dot put underscore line, so you must use one particular statement before going to use that statement, that is set server output on. Once for all for session, you can use this one. It could be worked out for total session. Okay. So this is what the lecture today. This is for the complete lecture today. So we'll see. We will continue lecture by Monday. Okay. So we'll write more and more programs.